So I got you people. Now you remember what I was talking about, that guy, the chairman of the new Black Panther Party, that sooner or later, that slogan that he says is gonna bite him back in the rear end. And that's what's happening now. Like I said, and this is true for anybody that marks the government is gonna blacklist you and it's gonna come at you hard. And that's what happened to this young man for the new Black Panther Party, right? Because he's young, he's energetic. You know, I'm sure he's not past his 40 because he looks like a young buck still. He has no idea what it is to be a militant. Even militants don't have the proper experience of the army, right? They don't execute like a trained soldier. A professional soldier is trained in the military, in the armed forces here in the Americas, right? He thinks just because he got a semi-automatic rifle, shotgun, he says, it's like a pump gun, but automatic, that wherever he points that rifle, he's gonna put a hole the size of a window. And I said, and I wrote it on people's comments, that slogan they said, whatever threat he did or whatever he said to provoke, that's what he did. He provoked the government and challenged the government that anybody that comes near him and try to use force on him like they use on these immigrants, he would put a hole the size of a window in that person. And guess what? His dreams came true. Now he's going to be blacklisted in the government list. He's going to be investigated. And, you know, he's going to be disarmed. And his whole Black Panther Party career is over. He did it to himself. They always go down, people. These organizations, they never last. And listen, he wants to protect people that the government is trying to get out of here because they're here in the Americas illegal. That's none of your business. You know, and they're not messing with you, your people here in the Americas. Leave that alone. You have no business being in any rally of any immigrant agencies that's out there trying to get these people out. That's none of your business. That's not brown business, not the Puerto Rican business. You know, stay out of that. It's not our business. The person that was involved was one of their peers, a white Caucasian lady. You think they cared? No. You think the Proud Boys came out there and protected this lady? No. You think the Nazis, the skinheads, the Ku Klux Klan came out there and rallied for her? No. These white folks don't care, especially those white folks are in the bottom of them, right? They don't care about these people. So what makes you think they don't care about their own people? They're gonna care about you, a color person that you have no business getting involved in the government's activity. Like I always say, these organizations, they always break down. Number one, they have no military experience. They don't know how to sweep a danger zone or whatever. When I mean sweep, I mean clear the area. These people don't know. They get a gun, they apply for these permits, and they think that they could go out there and you know, and how should I say, man, I'm trying to make it so everybody can understand, like, put fear on people that just because you got a gun, you're a superhero. Now you're a gunslinger. No, things don't work like that. You're not trained to deal with anybody. You acting like a street kid. That's how he was acting. He was acting like a street adolescent, you know, a minor with no control just because he's got a rifle or permit. You know, he could exercise his right and go out and disrespect the authorities and all that and go on social media and say whatever he wants to. It doesn't work like that. There's the reason why freedom of speech is out there. The reason why they let you speak your minds, because the government wants to know what's in your mind, what's your ideas. He already said what he's gonna do in his plan, and those plans, you know, the government took seriously what he said. You know, I put a hole the size of a window of any agent that treats me like that, and he's blacklisted. You know, his career is over, and I knew that was gonna happen for any organization. They got infiltrated. Why? Because, like I said in my other video, they hire their own people, informants, to infiltrate their organization, and they school for a few $1,000s. Anybody is gonna school in that organization just to get paid. 20,000 for anybody, 30 is something for somebody that doesn't have that, right? That's how they got broken into. Plus, you don't have no legal backup or anything like that. You know, when you into these organizations, you gotta have your stuff ready. You gotta have legal backing. You know, people that know civil law, criminal law, and all that. You know, state laws, things like that. Because it's gonna come down on you, and you're gonna need counsel. And you know, he was already advised that he's better tone down. He's too late for his tone down and apology. He's already blacklisted. He ain't going nowhere. You know, he put his own life trying to be a celebrity on YouTube and these platforms, and he got what he intended to have, right? He wanted to be famous. Now he's famous, but his career is over. As a Black Panther Party, as holding any type of licenses, you know, he all his licenses could get revoked for that comment that he did. You know, I always repeat it, right? If anybody comes down to me, I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. That's his slogan, and he's gonna get remembered by that. The most dumbest thing that you could say, just because you're holding a firearm and on you slinging a semi-automatic, and you think you Superman, that not even kryptonite can take you down. You know, you took your own self down. You know, how is it that anybody from these people that got shot, all these whites, right? Where's the Proud Boys? Where's the skinheads? Where's the KKK? You know why they're not out there? Because they're not getting paid. You know why? Because the Democrats was paying them to make shows like that. All these things were staged to happen. But since the Democrats lost and that these Republicans on office are not paying anybody to showcase any protests out there, you know, to stage anything. That's why these Proud Boys are out there, because they're not getting paid. The skinheads ain't out there because they're not getting paid. But I bet you send a check to them and say, yo, we want you out there to stage a protest. They will come out, right? Because there's always money involved. And looks like, I don't know what he's trying to get. He thinks he's going to get paid from social media, I guess, from wherever he's at, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, YouTube, you know, is the biggest channel that pays that thing. And he's probably going to get a check. You know, everybody's making him famous. He got him so famous, but in the stupidest way, you know, threatening the government. You know, he's a threat now to national security. That's what they're gonna charge him with. He's a threat to national security. Him and his fellow new Black Panther parties, right? And I don't understand why he didn't research how the first Black Panther Party of Defense got dismantled and dissolved, right? Because people of his own peers had ratted them out and snitching on them. And now you're going to put other people to try to join your group that they have no idea what it is, protecting and sacrificing your own people, you know, to have freedom in this country. You're just not going to make it. You don't have the intelligence, man, for that. You can tell that the guy's naive, that he's more into street talk and he acts and conducts himself on a street way, you know? Because he should have said something a little better, more educated than what he said in social media, and directed it to the government, right? The government bodies. He's not gonna make it. And nobody ever did. No skinheads, no Ku Klux Klan, they all got infiltrated by their own. But if the government don't want you there, they're gonna take you out. And he already, as soon as he got into social media, as soon as he took himself out. Why? Because he spoke without thinking. And that's what happens to a lot of them. You end your career before it even started, and he ended his. As soon as he opened his mouth, right? He ended his career. And nobody should be getting involved for that lady that got shot. That's not our business. That's not our fight. They've been saying it. I don't think that any other race should be getting. No Puerto Ricans, no blacks. Been fighting these wars for years. You know, Vietnam, Korean War, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, all these wars we've been into, and we don't get nothing out of it. You know, we just got to lay back and enjoy our life and enjoy the fruits of our labor. We shouldn't be fighting for anybody else. Everybody should fight for themselves and know how to share sweat, blood, and tears for their next generation. That's how it is. We shouldn't be fighting for no other races. Every race should pick themselves up and fight for what they want. And with that, people, I'll let you go and you think about that.